The time is now.
Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. And here we have a rather unique situation. The mighty win doing a solo presser from Eddie Howe. So welcome one and all. Get yourselves in the chat. Give me something to talk about other than, of course, the Barcelona match. Who have we got in? We've got Trulls in, Darren in, and Mervyn Cox. Hello, Mervyn Cox. I don't think I've seen your name before, but welcome anyway. Get a bit of the housework done. Smash the likes if you haven't already. We've got 60 in already. Bloody hell, we've only been going a minute. We've got 62 in and counting. So hit the like, please, and help the channel grow a bit. So, yeah, as we said, unusually today, Eddie is doing his press conference at 3:30 instead of the usual 9:30, which has caught us rather on our back feet. Hence, I'm doing this solo. So, me being the technophobe that I am and the dinosaur with regard to all things computer literate, etc., 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 if things go wrong, well, we'll just have to get on with it and muddle by. Like I say, smash the like, subscribe, become a member if you want to help us out, and join the prediction league. What else I was supposed to say? It doesn't matter. Let's get on the presser. Let's get on to Barcelona. Massive game. We can all remember. Well, I'm saying we can all remember. Some of us can remember the last time we played them. Well, not so much the last time because we played them twice after that. After the 3-2, the Asprilla famous game. But we are gonna take them on again, and I think we're actually better equipped to take them on now than what we were then. Have they got a better team now? Arguably. They've got a formidable front three there. But I think we've not got a bad side ourselves. If Big Nick can do his stuff, we'll be grateful. As I say, I'm a bit concerned that there seems to be a lot of expectation on the big boy. And normally it takes time to acclimatise to the Prem and all that, but he's couldn't have started any better, got himself a goal. And a lot of people were very impressed by his performance on Saturday. Barcelona have been directly involved. No, this is Raphinha. He was involved in more goals than any other player in the Champions League last season, with 21 goal contributions, 13 goals, 8 assists, and that makes him the highest participation in goals assist, highest GA in the competition's history. So we need to be on our toes watching for him now then. Who's he going to be up against? That's one of the burning questions of the day, no doubt. I mean, Eddie's not going to give his team away. There's no doubt about that. However, Eddie being Eddie, I think the consensus whenever we've been discussing this is that Trippier will play right back and Tino left back. Whether I'm in favour, listen, I love trips. Everybody knows I love trips. But I think if Lewis Hall is fit, we know he can't be fully match fit, but when you're his age, do you need to actually get match fit? I think the older you get, you probably do. But with the effervescence of youth, shall we say, it's quite possible he could come on and do a great job. And somebody is just telling me there, Rolly is now saying in the chat, the press is at 4:00. Well, I'm on the Newcastle website right now, and it says 3:30 on there, and the countdown is on with 14 minutes and 59 seconds to go. So I'm not sure at all what that's all about. I think Rowley could be wrong. Never mind. We gan on, as the mighty Quinn has just said in the chat there. Come on without, come on within. You'll not see nothing like the mighty win. The original song, Quinn, of course, Manfred Mann, great song, which was the chant that Wyn Davies, my first hero, took up or was serenaded to by the Leazer's End was the choir end then back in the day. You know, the Gallagher took over when the Leazer's End was demolished, but it was always the Leazer's End that was the singing centre, shall we say, of the hallowed turf of St James's Park. What Chris is agreeing with something there. Lee's what's Lee been saying in the chat? Makes sense to start with trips. Yeah, well, we'll work our way through, because there's lots of this is the beauty right now. Eddie Howe has got some selection dilemmas, and for long enough, he had no such dilemmas. He had a team that virtually picked itself if fit. Whereas now there's a few. He can start. Does he start Trips at right back, Livramento at left back, or does he start Livramento left and Hall right? We've got availability of Shea, Byrne, Botman, and Chow, centre halves. Do we want to go for pace, or do we want to go for defensive stability? I think Byrne's a nailed on. Everybody knows I'm a massive Dan Byrne fan. But not just because I'm a fan, but because his form for the last year really has been outstanding. He's virtually undroppable. I just wish he was 10 years younger. Chow hasn't really had a look in, apart from coming on against Liverpool. When he looked, and this is understandable, I think, somebody coming into the team brand new, looked a bit shaky with his first touch, but grew into the game, chaperoned by Mr. Byrne. And there's a possibility that we might need him for his pace tomorrow night. Amazingly, Barcelona are only bringing 500 fans. Can you believe that? A club the size of Barcelona, and they're only bringing 500 fans. Seems ridiculous to me. But it's all the more seats for us, which went, so some more lucky ballot members got their tickets over the last couple of days, starting on Monday. And there we have that. What else have we got here? We've got some strange facts about the game. Of course, it's the fifth time now we've played Barca, and we won the first one memorably, but have lost every one since, home and away. So it's time we started putting that thing right. Barcelona have won 12 of the last 16 Champions League games against English clubs, and only lost twice. So won 12, drawn 2, and lost twice, scoring an average of 2.1 goals per team. Ominous. Newcastle have previously faced Spanish opposition 11 times in major European competition, and were just in front on that. Won 6, lost 5. But the last 5 include the last 3 in succession. Barcelona were defeated in their last away Champions League game against on English soil. That was when Liverpool beat them 4-0. I don't know if you can remember that game. And I've only lost consecutive matches against English teams once, and that was in 2011 and 2012 against Arsenal and Chelsea, respectively. Newcastle have only won one of the last 8 Champions League games, and that again is a bit worrying, which is obviously the famous 4-1 over PSG. But here's the difference, I think. The last few times we've been in the Champions League, we haven't had a squad full of Champions League caliber players. At least not to the extent that we do now. If you were to go through our team one by one, there's, I would say, at least half a dozen who are Champions League standard. Whereas in the past, you'd be lucky if we had 2 or 3. You'd be lucky in the past if we had 2 or 3 internationals. Now we're riddled with internationals from all over the continent, not just England. But English internationals, we're pretty well stocked. We're better stocked now than we've been for a long, long time, really, since we had kind of Shearer, Lee, Howe, and Batty in the squad. So that's how long ago that was. Of the managers who've managed 10 games in the Champions League or more, the 2 sides with the highest goals per game average are both Hansi Flick sides. Bayern Munich averaging 3.2 and Barca currently averaging 3.1 under Flick. So there's another little warning bell saying, look out, look out, look out. Now then, here's a little question in for the chat here. There's only 3 current Newcastle players who've scored for a club in the Champions League. 2 are defenders. That's Dan Burn, Fabian Schär. Who's the only other person in the current squad that scored in the Champions League? Answers on a postcard. Or answers in the chat, should we say. I'll try and keep an eye. You've got to. I'm really good at doing 2 things at once. Never mind 4 things at once that I've known here. I'm looking at the chat. I'm looking at my computer. I'm looking at the Newcastle screen, seeing if Eddie's ready yet. What's going on? Lamine Yamal's missing, obviously. Oh, Barcelona, right. Marcus Rashford. He's been involved in 8 goals in 11 career starts against Newcastle. 5 goals and 3 assists, including 4 in 6 starts at St James's Park. So Marcus Rashford has been a bit of a thorn in our sides, as we remember well, of course, from Wembley. What's that? Lamine Yamal, we know he's going to be out. But had he played, he would be the most appearances in a competition whilst under 18. So that's all the quirky facts that we've got there. If we look, I haven't even got the lineups, and I'm not sufficiently savvy to get that lineup up for the potential lineup for Barcelona. But let's concentrate on Newcastle. So it's going to be Pope in goal. I think we can all agree that it's going to be Pope in goal. Even though some might not agree with it, Eddie will certainly pick Nick Pope, I would think. Mighty Quinn, how many points do you think you need to get to the knockouts? Well, last season it was 16. So to get to the guaranteed to the knockouts. But do you mean the knockouts or do you mean the round of 16? Because that's the way it works now. The top 8 go into the last 16 automatically, and then the next 16 have to play each other for the other 8 spots. And the way those places are determined is that whoever finishes 9th in the league plays whoever finished 24th. 10th plays 23rd, 11th 22nd, and so on. Which is why there was some weird knockout games last season, because the likes of PSG and Man City dropped loads of points in the group stage that they weren't expected to lose, and finished way down the pecking order. So in theory, you could still, as Liverpool did last year, you could be top of the league, but end up still, end up playing, Grasshopper Zurich. You end up playing PSG because they happen to have had a stinking league section. So it's exciting, by the way. It makes for good television, which is all they're interested in: more games and more high level games. So that's one way of looking at it. And it certainly gives the likes of ourselves a far better chance, I think, anyway, of progressing than the knockout. If you get, as we did, inevitably, get drawn in a group of death. The mighty win, can you give a chip out to Chippers 1990 and Teddy? Hello, Chippers 1990 and Teddy. Have I missed super chats or something? Let me just have a quick look and make sure I haven't. I don't think I have. No, I haven't. Because I'll really get me head in my hands if I miss any super chats. So if you want to see me get me head in my hands, get a super chat in. Claire, don't care about the big stars not playing. I want us to get us to the final, and that's me as well. When everybody was saying, who do you want in the group stages, in the league stage that we're in now, I just wanted the rag out of every group. Chris, Joey Linton, and Joey Linton never got. By the way, did anybody get it right? I wasn't even looking. Did anybody get that right? Who's the only current player to have scored in the Champions League apart from Byrne and Shea? And it just so happens that Joey Linton's in the chat, and that's who it was, Joey Linton. Who won the goal of the round, if you remember, against Inter Milan, wasn't it? AC Milan. I tried sending super chats. It won't let me. I tried 4 times. Well, you're not trying hard enough, J7, but if you are, and if there's a glitch somewhere, thank you very much anyway. No problemo. You're mad not wanting... Who's saying they don't want Burning? My team... Yes, Howe's team, no. We'll see. The team I think Howe will pick is 5-2-3, which can merge into a 5-4-1. And his suggestion, he thinks Howe will go with Trips, Shea, Botman, Byrne. Right. Trips, Shea, Botman, Byrne, Tino. Right. So back 5. Shea, Botman, and Byrne. 3 centre backs with Trips on the right, Tino on the left. Double pivot, Bruno and Tonali. And up front, Barnes, Gordon and Alanga. So Woolsey is saying that he thinks Eddie won't start Voltemada. Well, that's weird. Is the Wolsey named after Voltemada, Wolsey? I don't know. But I cannot imagine for 1 second that Eddie will not start. It would be madness. I cannot believe for 1 second that Eddie won't start Voltemada. It would just be weird. And I'm not sure. Listen, it would make perfect sense to me to go 5-3-1, except that you've got to get points, and you've only got 4 games at home, so you've got to try and get those home points. Yeah, I don't think he may go with a back five, but I don't know. Even if he went with a back five, I'm not sure that it would be Shea, Bottom and Byrne. I think if he went with a back five, it might be Joe, Bottom and Byrne. What now we have it? Steve Cook, last 16, may get more TV money, potentially beneficial. Well, there's no might get it. It absolutely will get more TV money, and it will be beneficial. What's in here? I don't know what that means. Gordon is crap as a striker. Not much I agree with. Trolls, there's not much me and you agree on, but I do agree that at the minute, if he ever has to learn his trade, perhaps, but that's Rogers in the chat and all saying it's a 4 o'clock start. Well, I've got the live thing now saying the event is about to start. But now I've got Chris saying it's going late. Oh, well, that's okay. It just means I've got another half of an hour to fill in with waffle. So I need you guys to keep me going. How did they decide home and away team in the last 16 kickoffs? Whoever... Oh, the last 16. The last 16 is purely a draw. But for the 62. No, the last 16. Okay. So the last 16, it's the top 8. Whoever finished in the league in the top 8, they get home advantage. So they play the home leg second. I'm pretty sure that's as I understand it. Let's just have a quick look here. Home advantage. Home advantage last 16 UCL. Last 26 misprint. Last 16. Four teams finished between 3rd and 6th in the league. Cannot get home priority in the Champions League. Major. It's going to take too long to look up at them. And I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll check that out. We'll have that information ready for the pre-match tomorrow. So we'll have a look at all of those intricate rules, because that's the trouble. They keep changing. So we'll have a look, and it'll be a good little section on that show. We might even do it tonight. We might even do that tonight. I'll do a bit of research and make sure that we're in a position to definitively say what's what, because you kind of wax saying what's what. Don't care about the big start. Yeah, we've had Claire's 16 points straight through. Yep. Tonali has 3 goals in the Champions League. Ah. No, I wasn't aware of that. So BBC Sport is wrong because they are saying out of the current squad, only, unless they mean for Newcastle, but that's not what it says. It says in the Champions League. So well done, Niall, for pointing that out. If it's correct, Bonnie lad, no problem. I don't mind being corrected. Eddie must start playing more than 11 players, showing variation, rotate. No point in waiting on an injury before giving another chance to get form and impress. Well, I agree with that as well. But the problem is that hitherto, he hasn't had that luxury because he hasn't had the squad. Any player that was going out of the first team, which picked itself virtually, meant a massive drop-off in quality, and that isn't the case now. Burner's better currently than Botman. Absolutely agree, Jake. Burner's our true captain. He's the best defender for Newcastle I've seen, to be honest. Well, he's certainly up there. I still think Woodgate takes a bit of beating for me. Didn't play long enough, right enough, and he didn't have Big Dan's. He's from Blythe, Big Dan's commitment to the cause, which I don't know if you can put a price on that. What he gives us in the dressing room. Excuse me. Now then. Hi, how are you? Just subbed. Be hard game tomorrow. I hope we win. Are you at the match tomorrow? Yes, I'm at the match tomorrow. How are you? Just subbed. It'd be a hard game tomorrow. Not sure what you mean there, Ben. 9:30. Sorry, bud. Roger Cook saying it's got to be 4-3-3. Well, it almost certainly will be because that's Eddie's normal way of talking. I think they're all coming on now. So it definitely, the NUFC website said that the press out was at 3:30. The Watch channel NUFC TV had it at 3:30. It had the countdown down to 3:30, and now it's back to the event is about to start. So there's obviously something coming up. Win, how many points do you think we will get? I think we will get 12 points. And that's me with my my half emptiest glasses on. I find it difficult to think we'll get any less. And that'll comfortably get us into the playoffs. And once we're in the playoffs, home and away, I fancy us against anybody. It's just that the way the league system works, I always say a good point in the an away point in the Premier League is a very good point. Doesn't matter who it's against, and that's kind of doubly so in the Champions League. Especially with the opponents we've got. I mean, the weak link, if you looked at our opponents, you would say that the weak link was Union Saint-Gilloise. And they went to PSV and thumped them 3-1 yesterday, which is good because I think what that means is if USG can beat them 3-1 in Eindhoven, there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to. So that would immediately increase the points forecast that I'm suggesting we'll go for. I don't know what's happened at PSV. I didn't even see that match last night, or Tuesday night, whenever. Yeah, last night. I didn't watch that, but I assumed USG were going to be the whipping boys. Could USB be the Newcastle United of 1969? Everybody's expecting them to roll over and they just go and do wonderful things. Let's hope not. At least not against us. Wouldn't mind meeting them in the final. Did everybody see David Beckham tipping Newcastle as the dark horses? Good old Mr. Beckham. Rumours Gordon's up front. Where are these rumours coming from? And Kieran Martin saying that would be so Eddie Howe. No. There cannot be any way whatsoever that Eddie Howe does not start Walter Mortar tomorrow. It's unthinkable. It just doesn't bear thinking about that Eddie would drop the man in whose honour this song was penned. Gimme, gimme, gimme a striker from Stuttgart. Name is Walter Marder and he plays in attack. Gimme, gimme, gimme a striker from Stuttgart. He's a proper Geordie, not a rat like Isaac. With his own song, put to the sword with his own song, the rat. So Baltimore has got to start, no doubt. Keith Downey said the same. Gordon up front. Listen, even if Walter Marder isn't starting for whatever bizarre reason, and unless he's got an injury, which we'll find out shortly in the presser, even if he has got an injury, not Gordon. Gordon has surely had ample opportunity to show that he can play as a striker. And he's failed abysmally. Absolutely failed abysmally. He cannot play that role. So if for whatever reason Voldemort isn't starting up front, for me it's got to be Elanga. Because he's done it there. He's scored lots of goals going through the middle. And that would be a far better option for me than Gordon, because not only do you then have a poor striker, but you're losing your best left winger. So it's a double whammy. It's a double loss situation, and it makes no sense to me whatsoever. None. Build up with... What's just saying? Let's truly build form with the 11 and on the bench too. Yeah, well, that's the thing. He's got to start using the bench. And I think, here's the thing. I think Eddie, I am Eddie's biggest fan, as you can see. But he has got deficiencies. One of those deficiencies is his game management, which is a pretty big deficiency when you think about it for a manager. And one of the things that he's got to start doing is being proactive in games and not reactive. Because so often, occasionally he has made good decisions based on what's happened, but that's all retro-fitting. He needs to be able to say, look, this isn't working. For example, on Saturday, it was apparent after 15 minutes that Bonds wasn't at the races. Change it. Don't wait until 65 minutes. The game's gone by then. We could have been a couple of goals down. So that's my one major criticism for Eddie, and it's, it's well beaten by all of the positives. All the good stuff way outweighs any of his deficiencies for me right now. But once, when you think about what he's done with his hand behind his back, since he started, really, hands tied behind his back, and he's worked absolute miracles as far as I'm concerned. But yes, he has got deficiency, and I am worried that when he eventually does get a bench, in other words, a squad full of decent. Obviously, they're not all going to be as good as the first team, but they're not going to be the drop off that you would see replacing Tenali for Longstaff, for the sake of our argument. The bench we've got now, as I had this argument with Borky, by the way, but that he didn't agree with me. I think it's the strongest bench we've had in my lifetime. Now, Borky argued that the entertainers bench was stronger, but firstly, that was like one substitute, not five, and so you only had to have a squad of 12, not a squad of 15. If we had everybody fit, and I know you're never going to have everybody fit all the time, which is why our squad still needs strengthening. Considerably strengthening, especially up front and in midfield. We're until we bought Ramsey, and he's already out. We were threadbare in midfield. Overloaded with wingers, overloaded with centre back. We weren't overloaded with centre backs because, again, we were very, very short at centre back when Botman was out and Lascelles was out. We're relying on two in the Owens. But as I said, so what that has done consistently is prevented Eddie having been able to rotate, being able to make proactive changes, etc., etc., etc. That is not the case now. Now he should be able to, work his magic. Let's see what he's got. Get your best tricks out, Eddie. And for me, getting your best tricks out is not putting somebody up front instead of Walter Mora. No way at all. It would blow my mind if he did that, to be honest. But if Keith Downey's coming out with it, it could have been another one of the smoke screens coming out. Maybe. Barnes is just out of form. Last season, over the whole season, he had a similar. I just saw that wasn't past. He had a similar minutes per goal to forwards like Gapco. He hasn't forgotten how to score. Just seems lacking confidence. Yeah, well, me and Chris have had many a row about Barnes. I think he's Chris's stepson or something. And I like him. I like what he's capable of doing. The problem is he doesn't do it often enough. And about goals, minutes to goals ratio. Was Gakpo not injured for a lot of the time as well last season? So, fitness and because this is the constantly purported theory is Barnes is no good because he's not getting a run in the team. But every time he gets a run in the team, he does now. He's done all his best work for us coming on as a sub. So this business about needing to get a run in the team and build your confidence and all that, man, for God's sake, he's what, 20, 27 now, 26, 27 now? He shouldn't need that. He should be primed and ready to go, just like the mighty Win is when he gets the opportunity. Need a Walter Mora song using a Rammstein song, maybe Sonne, eins. Eins Voltemada, zwei Voltemada, he's drei Voltemada, he's going to score now. I don't know what that bloody, who's that? Is Rammstein a pop group these days, is it? I thought it must be a German city or something. But somebody put me out my misery as Rammstein a group. Bond's got a hat full more goals than Gordon. He did last season. Gordon wasn't great last season. Still better than Bonds, though. In my humble opinion. Darren Lane, more chance of seeing aliens land in November than Gordon starting as the main striker tomorrow. Well, I just hope you're right, Darren. I hope you're right. Because that would make no sense to me at all. He says Walter Marder not fit enough to play all games. Well, okay, so miss the next one then. Didn't miss this one. Needs to be better than the current 2-word one. Ole, ole, ole. Yeah, that was a bit tame, wasn't it? I say I like my Nick and Isaac song off him. But Gordon had more goal contributions. Yeah, well. Which player will be trotted out to talk to the media? Burn or Bruno? Because it's Champions League, I think it might be Burn because he had his big moment, of course. And he knows what he's talking about. Tony T, if Bonds wasn't hit in the face against Wolves and went on to score, would you still say he's been bad? Well, no, he didn't. But the only thing I would say about that as well is if that had been Gordon would have been so much faster than him that the defender wouldn't have been there to do it. And apparently it's Eddie and Bruno up for the presser. So it's going to be a 2-man presser, is it? Is that generally the format? It's that long now. Is that generally the format in Champions League press conferences? I don't know. Bonds is irreplaceable. Sorry. Bonds is replaceable. Definitely not a high level. Listen, Bonds is perfectly adequate to have on the bench. He can be very, very good and make a difference coming off the bench. To me, he just, was unlucky not to score against Wolves, I thought. Got in some great positions and put in some good crosses. I didn't see the good crosses, by the way. Win, not true. Last season, he was on it when Gordon was out. This season, it's not worked out at all, but last season, he got a run of games and was great. Well, there's Brandt sticking up for his Uncle Chris. How are you doing, son? Good to hear from you. It's all goals per minute, so it takes out injuries. Yeah, I realise that. What was Wolsey saying? I think we'll beat Barca 2 tomorrow. Oh, I think we'll beat Barca tomorrow. But Howe won't risk Baltimore starting this match when we have no other striker for Bournemouth on Sunday. Plus, you have to remember we have 6 games in like 17 to 18 days. Okay, let's talk about that then. In the chat, which game do you think is the most important? Thursday night or away at Bournemouth on Sunday? Which game is the most important? If I could say to you now, you can win that one, you're going to lose that one. Which one would you rather win and which one would you rather lose? Because I know out of the 2 which I'm saying, and that's the Champions League. You only get one chance at that. You know, there's plenty of games to make up for lost points in the Premier League. And in any event, away at Bournemouth is not a gimme by any stretch of the imagination, regardless of what people will tell you. That's a tough game. You could certainly not go to Bournemouth expecting to get 3 points. Anybody who doesn't know the real world. So if I'm going to have 3 points, I'm going to have them in the Champions League, which will then hopefully enable us to get into the next round and make a lot more money. A lot more money than you'll ever make in the Premier League, by the way. By virtue of where you finish. So if that would, again, my opinion of Eddie would take a dint if it was proven to be the case that he had deliberately rested Voldemort today in order to get a better result against Bournemouth. And that's despite the fact that, as I'm sure everybody is aware, he's never beaten Bournemouth yet whilst the Newcastle manager. And there's been a lot of wild conspiracy theories about that. But the one thing that, if he were to do that, if he were to drop Voldemort for Barca and play him against Bournemouth, the one thing that would prove is that any of these conspiracy theories that he doesn't try against Bournemouth are unfounded. So there you go. Oh, we're doing 56. Well, even if it's a 4:00 start, we're only 4 minutes away. But we are getting very little out of Gordon either. I don't think he has had a goal involvement since March. But that's 12 games now without a goal. But he's had a couple of assists. Smash the likes, people. It makes a massive difference. Thank you, Janesta. Indeed, it does. Smash the likes. Hit the bell. Out of all of the subscribers that we have, only 10% have hit the notification bell. So if you're one of those, hit the bell and you won't miss a single show with the likes of me talking bollocks by yourself for an hour. Maybe that's a good excuse not to hit the bell. No, hit the bell, because most shows are better than this. Gordon's wig. Oh, well, I don't know about the wig, but I tell you what, that headband is getting on my tits. You know what I mean? What on earth is he thinking about? Punt marks. Away win at Bournemouth would be a statement win for me. Bogey team, Eddie Curse, and a tough team on their own patch. Indeed, they are a tough team on their own patch. I was never here. I was just a figment of your imagination. Oh, hello, whatever you prefer. Presser coming soon. Let me just refresh here and see if anything's actually going on. Event is about to start still. Yeah. No, it's actually live, but there's absolutely nothing happened anyway. Just saying it. It's coming soon. So it's Christmas. If you like this video, you will go to heaven. Cheers, Marky. Yeah, a player is normally part of the process for UCL, says Janesta. We need better than Barnes, absolutely, and he can have better games. You know, it could be argued we need better than Gordon. We certainly need better than Gordon on his current form. I don't judge wingers purely based on GA. I think Gordon is far superior off the ball in terms of leading the press. Gordon, as far as the press is concerned, is fantastic. However, I completely disagree with the opening sentence there, Gina. For me, wingers are absolutely and totally based on GA. That's what they're there for. It's great if they can back up as well, but what's the point of pressing if it doesn't lead to GA? Kind of wasted effort. So for me, I judge wingers entirely on GA. Like I say, it's fantastic. Like Miggy, fantastic to have the work rate that you got out of Miggy. Fantastic. But the bottom line is, what does he contribute to the team in terms of, getting points? And you only get points by scoring goals. So for me, the winger is the one position that can only really be judged. There may be some weird circumstances that would sort of vary that kind of philosophy, but no, I think wingers should be judged on goals and assists because that's what they're there to do. And I don't think we get enough goals from our wingers. We'll have little spurts, as we did with Barnes, as we did with Miggy, as we've done with Gordon. They have little, even ASM had his little purple patch. So you get little spurt, but when you've got a winger who's doing that consistently, a la Raphinha for Barcelona, for example, that's when you've got a proper winger on your hand. Alex, who the... Another new chant for the rat. I think that's what that was all about. Brant, I'm fine with selling Barnes, by the way, or Gordon and upgrading. Get more for Gordon, but Barnes could bring in enough for a really good left winger, good younger left winger. Well, you're not going to get much better than Gordon for his age, to be fair. People think because Gordon's been around for so long, they all think he's 25, 26, and he's not. And the best is still to come from Gordon, I believe. I think once he gets his head, get that stupid headband off, and I think we could really see him take off because he's definitely got the attitude. If you listen to his interviews, it would appear that he's got the brain and the intellect. So the rest is down to commitment. Has he got the commitment? Everything he says that he has, but everything you see would tend to counter that. Just a thought. Punt marks. Barnes was great. Pre and post the cup final. Scored a lot. Barcelona, Claire G, agrees with me. Barcelona the priority. I think we'll beat Barca. Howe will say Bournemouth. I think we'll beat Barca either way. So we'll see. You're saying you think we would beat Barca whether or not we play Wolfie. Because I think it will be very... We couldn't beat Villa or Leeds without a centre-forward, man. Never mind beating Barcelona. So I think highly, highly debatable that we can beat Barcelona without a centre-forward. Do you go for a point at home? 3 points are so much more valuable in the Champions League. The way the league's table's based now. Draws are as good as useless. You get a lot of money for them. That's true. Bournemouth is more important. We don't want to lose too much ground on the top 5. Lots of time to get that back, though. And lots of time to get it back when we've got Worcester back and a January window to come as well, remember. And that, listen, the January window cannot be, even though I was, by the 1st of September, I was quite happy with the window overall. I thought we had definitely improved our squad considerably. When you consider, Ramsdale for Dubravka, uh, Alanga for Miggy, you could say Ramsey for Longstaff, and then we got Wissa and Voltemora for Isaac and Wilson. So that to me was a massive upgrade to the whole squad. Not necessarily to the first 11, but to the whole squad. Now then, and we still had money in the kitty, well, that's the other thing. We had money in the kitty as far as the Premier League were concerned, but not apparently as far as UEFA are concerned. Oh, yes, Eddie.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to St James's Park, ahead of tomorrow's match with Barcelona. We'll have Eddie Howe now, and we'll start with Rudy Guimaraes at 4:20 p.m. Due to space and time, we will have to restrict you to one question each, if that's okay. If you want to just raise your hand and get my attention, we'll come to you. You want to start us off? Keith?
Eddie, Newcastle, Barcelona, it's got a special ring to it. It's obviously a historic fixture. We've seen it here in the past, a Spear hat-trick. How much are you looking forward to leading out your team in this game ahead of a new Champions League campaign?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is a historic fixture. I think it's one that as soon as we realised we were drawn against Barcelona, it had a sort of a magical feel to it. I think it'll be an amazing game to experience. Yeah, obviously we've been focusing on the tactical preparation and making sure we deliver a good performance. And I'm really excited to sample the atmosphere. I think that will just be an incredible thing again.
Eddie, 2 seasons ago, the PSG game here sort of set the benchmark for you. Would you like tomorrow night to do the same for you again?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's things we can certainly take from that game, but of course there's things we can take from that experience, the whole thing. Ultimately, we didn't progress beyond the group stage. That was a big disappointment. So I think we can use those experiences to help us. I think for this individual game, which is all we can focus on, is trying to get a positive result, is trying to prepare the players for the game. We've in part done that yesterday and today, and we've still got some preparations to finish off. I'm looking forward to seeing how we play against them and how we match up as a team. Certainly a lot of confidence now restored to the group, having won on Saturday.
We go to Luke, Mark and Chris, please. Luke?
What you said you learned lessons from the last Champions League campaign 2 years ago. What makes you think you're better equipped this time around to deal with it?
Well, I think that experience in part, just the size and the magnitude of those games, everything that goes into a Champions League game, it is different from the Premier League. The build-up's different, the feel's different. So I think having done that before can certainly help us again. I think the squad is arguably stronger. I don't know. You could always make a debate either way. Of course, the squad has changed from 2 years ago, so it's a different squad. And I think, I back the quality that we have. Certainly the tough games. It's a tough-looking fixture list for us, and I think the early games are really important because they set the foundation and they set the tone. That's why we're really focusing on our performance and trying to deliver a good one.
Mark?
Maybe there's a sense that last time it was a fantastic experience to be part of the Champions League, but I'm assuming this time the focus is very much on getting through to the next round, especially with the format changing.
Yeah, I think, as I said, that there was a lot of unknowns last time, and yes, the focus was always on trying to get through the group stage, but there was a feeling that we were sampling it all new, and we enjoyed it, but ultimately we did fail. So I think this time the resolve is stronger to try and progress and not just enjoy the experience, but try and make it a meaningful one. I think we've done that historically in the past, from learning from different things and then trying to add layers, whether that's our preparation or our general performance, and we'll try to do so again.
Eddie, Anthony Gordon obviously has been suspended for the last couple of Premier League matches.
Yep.
Is he in your thoughts for tomorrow, and how's he in terms of mentally going into this match, having missed those last couple of games?
Yeah, Anthony's good. Yeah, of course he's in my thoughts. He's an outstanding player, and you can't have enough of those. So we'll look to utilise him. Whether we think that's from the start of the game, well, let's wait and see. But I think he brings a pace to our forward line, a directness that you always need. I think it's an important season for him in his career, and we're looking forward to helping him reach his very highest levels if we can.
Thanks, Chris. Third row from the back. Yes.
Buenas tardes, le recuerda Raku. Mañana no va a jugar Lamine Yamal. Mañana no va a jugar Lamine Yamal. ¿Esto os beneficia? ¿Crees que el Barça es menos peligroso sin el joven jugador?
Yeah, I think I had this question on Saturday night, and yeah, for me it's a shame he's not playing. Disappointed that we don't get to see him at his best and playing in the game. But whoever they play, they've got real pace in wide areas. We know that. They've got international players that will challenge us in different ways. So I think structurally our team performance has got to be really strong. I think we've got to defend well in wide areas. So yeah, we're looking forward to that battle.
Just off to the left. Yeah.
Hi Eddie, just a reflective sort of question. You spoke about the magical feel and the special moment where it is. Just a few years ago when you came in, you were in a relegation battle and now you're hosting Barcelona in Champions League. What moment in this whole journey stands out to you as the biggest turning point in changing the mentality of the club, your team?
I don't think there was one moment that I ever necessarily thought that. I think it's a very gradual process we went through from staying in the league initially. We knew that was a big moment for us in terms of the speed of our rise as a football club, because to do that in the Championship is very, very difficult. There's no guarantee you're going to get out of that league anyway. It's so competitive. So staying in it firstly was huge, and then the togetherness that we were able to build and the speed of our unity was fundamentally vital. And I just think we've grown in confidence as we've gone through the seasons. But progression is very difficult, and to keep that progression at the speed that we've had is probably our biggest challenge that we face.
Okay, we've got to Martin, then Lee and Craig, please. Martin.
Eddie, a lot of people spoke about the 1997 game, which was a magical night, and 2 years ago against PSG, it was another magical night. For the development of the club, though, is it important that you progress beyond just these isolated incidents, getting to the group stage maybe this time, to build on what you've done?
Yeah, I think that's the challenge that we're looking to take on, because yes, we want magical nights. We want those moments that everyone remembers. The iconic games are great, but we also want consistent results. We want both. You want everything. So I'm sure during this Champions League season, we'll have games where maybe we don't perform as well, but we've got to try and find a way, even in those moments, of generating positive results that hopefully can carry us through.
Thank you. Lee.
Eddie, Anthony Elanga has been on the bench recently. How far away are you to getting back to that player who devastated defences last season? Have you had a few difficult conversations with him as well?
No difficult conversations with him. I think he's in a good place. I've been really pleased with how he's integrated himself into the group, how he's committed to the training that we've asked him to do. He's got standout qualities and attributes that we need. Again, similar to Anthony, he's got that outstanding pace and directness. He's going through a process where he's trying to understand everything that's required of him here, which is very different to what was required of him at his former club, which he did really, really well. Last season, obviously in a slightly different style, so that acclimatization will take a period. But I think he's well on the way to doing that, and I'm delighted with him.
Thanks, Lee. Craig.
Eddie, it's two questions in one, but they are related. First of all, what do you think of the new expanded format? Your first time in it. Is that less jeopardy? Is it easier to get through? And the second part of that is, regardless of that, how important is it for players already here, because you saw what happened with Alex, that you do make those latter stages to send that message, not just to the outside world, but to those in your dressing room?
Yeah, I mean, I like the format. I think more games is good for us. I think we're learning as a team, and we're adapting to the competition. So I think the more we can face the competition, I think the better we will become. Ultimately, feel more comfortable in the environment. Whether it's easier to qualify or not, I don't know. I mean, that remains to be seen in terms of our strength and how well we do. But certainly, there's benefits all across the board in terms of reaching firstly qualifying from the original groups, our original first target. So there'd be many benefits to that, financial, of course, and as you say, showing the squad that we're strong enough. But I always say in response to those questions, the players have to show that they're good enough to play at this level, and they're excelling at the level. Playing isn't good enough. It's, we need players to excel and to do very well.
Adam, just in behind. We understand that at this level you can't look beyond the next game, but would it be fair to assume that you spent part of the international break focusing tactically on this game as well as the reward for the weekend?
Yeah, I think planning and looking ahead is key, I think, in my role. So the international break was a busy one for me, a lot of watching of future opponents to make sure that you're not then preparing the next game in 2 or 3 days. You've got a foresight that you need to either pick a team or change tactically. It's very difficult to do that on the spot. So yeah, we feel we're quite good now at doing that. So yeah, a lot of football was watched.
Thank you. The gentleman in the middle.
Sí. Hola, le quería preguntar, teniendo en cuenta los partidos que ha podido ver del Barcelona esta temporada, ¿qué es lo que más le preocupa del juego del Barcelona? ¿Qué cree que es lo que tiene que vigilar más su equipo del estilo y de la manera como juega el Barcelona? Gracias.
I think, well, firstly, a very good technical team, very good in possession, very comfortable on the ball. All their players look at ease in that respect. And as I said earlier, a lot of pace in wide areas, a lot of goals. You saw in their last game, their free scoring, started the season very well. So I think all of those things lead to us having to defend very well. So our off-the-ball game plan's got to be very strong. We've started the season really well defensively. So a continuation of that is going to be needed.
Kieran? You mentioned Servali at the weekend. Have you tapped into those links ahead of this game with the players, and how determined are you to create your own history?
Yeah, well, I haven't necessarily gone to that area yet. I think there's still time. I think for me it's mostly been about so far that just the actual game and the tactical viewpoint and making sure we're prepared. But certainly psychologically, when we go into that area, that might be something I use.
Barcelona are a club with a certain historical aura. Do you think that Newcastle United is starting to develop their own with winning a trophy and the way that you've played the last 3 years?
Yeah, I hope so. I think that's important for us to try and build that. That's never the intention. That will be the result of what you deliver. But I think whoever plays us hopefully will know that they're in for a very competitive game. They're up against a team that will commit everything physically. And we play with a lot of heart and spirit. So I think that they're the qualities that we're going to need regardless of who our opponents are.
Eddie, how much of a risk, if any, do you think it would be to ask Nick Volkemade to play 3 games in a week at the moment, just given A, he's only just arrived and obviously he did have the cramp at the weekend, and B, for Bournemouth, you'll have no Johan Visser, you'll have no Anthony Gordon.
Yeah, we're trying to take everything into consideration when we're picking the teams at the moment. We're having an eye on the future, as in future games, to make sure that whatever team we pick is balanced. The priority is to always win the next game. But we're, of course, looking ahead to who we have available, with future games in mind. So, yeah, team selections aren't always straightforward. I think there's a lot that goes into it.
Okay, we'll take a few more. We'll start with Louise. We've got a Gary, Dominic. Louise?
Hi, Eddie.
Hi.
Do you feel that you're quite similar to Hansi Flick in the sense that you're both quite hybrid and willing to change styles? I mean, he was called a flicky fucker when he was in the round. I mean, do you feel this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. In a sense of comparing styles, I think he has a clear vision of how he wants his teams to play, and I admire how they play, and I think he's had a brilliant career, so certainly a coach that I've got a lot of respect for. I think we will try and look at every game individually and try and pick a plan, whether that's on the ball or off the ball, to try and win the match, while also sticking to a philosophy and a principle of play that we believe in. We've never veered from that too far, Jason and I, throughout our management career, so we'll continue with that theme and that vein. We look at every game in depth and try and find a way to win.
Thanks, Louise. Gary?
Hi, Eddie. I noticed from the pictures this morning at training, today's music, DJ Bruno. Can you just explain what that is? Is that something new this season? Is it a different player each day? What's the idea behind
No, that's been there for a while. I think we allow the players and the staff members, I haven't had my go yet, to bring their music of choice to the warm-up. Certainly the lads won't, I think, like what I bring, but hopefully that comes around soon. So today it was Bruno's, and it wasn't too bad. It had obviously a Brazilian flavour to it, and it's nice to hear the lads' music of choice.
Thank you. We'll go Dominic and then we'll finish on Jordan, please.
Hi Eddie, is there any update on Johan Wissa and when we could expect to see him back now?
Yeah, Johan will, we hope, be back after the next international break. So that's the plan. Off the top of my head, is it Brighton? I think is the first game. So that can always change, and it's always flexible. But I think that's what I've been told.
Okay, I'm going to take one from the gentleman in the blue, right in the back, please. Yeah. That's you.
Me gustaría saber qué jugador, sacando a Lamine Yamal, que ya no va a poder estar, sacando a Lamine Yamal que no va a poder estar, si a usted le dijeran qué jugador del Barcelona puede incorporar a su equipo, de los que van a estar mañana, ¿cuál elegiría?
Well, I think that's a tough one. I always think with those questions, I'm probably better off not giving you a direct answer. I think they've got many good players. Yeah, I think it's difficult to pick one out.
Okay, concludes this part of the press conference. Bruno Guimaraes will be with you very shortly. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Isn't that? Oh no, I've got an echo, Chris. Isn't that just like the thing? There's me complaining like hell because the journalists are not pressing the speak button to ask the questions, and then when I come back on, I forgot to unmute myself. How about that? Never mind. We're back now. Thank you, Michael Camiotek. I hope I pronounced that correctly, for becoming a member. Welcome along. Hope you enjoy all the benefits. So what I was going to, as I said, he didn't say a lot. Not that he ever does, really. Now that the Isaac saga is finished. Oops, said his name again. Now that the Rat saga is finished. Wissa, no news is good news, I suppose. It's not getting any worse. But there was some interesting comments coming through as we went on. Let's have a look at some of these. Do you think we should watch out for Rafinha, former Leeds player? Absolutely, we should. Yeah, I went through it. If you watched the start of the show, I went through some of his stats. Very impressive. And Eddie did, in fact, give him a name check as well. Barcelona's high line will be perfect for pace and power. And Voltemora isn't fast unless he plays in the 10 role, feeding Gordon and Alanga. So you're talking about completely rejigging the whole team for to play Barcelona. There's no reason for Eddie not to stick. Oh, well, this answers your question, Wolsey. There's no reason for Eddie not to stick with his 4-3-3. We'll beat PSG that way. Nothing to lose tomorrow, in my opinion. Just go for it. Let's be at 'em, as it says on the banner. It would be a phenomenal achievement if we keep a clean sheet against Barcelona. It certainly would. How many points do you think we've already done that one, Ginesta? That's the one I meant to get. Where are we? There we go. Clubs like PSG, Real Madrid, Man City, in last year's playoffs. I hope we avoid the playoffs. Well, this is the point I was making about the new system, because you get these giant teams who just, happen to have enough couple of games and lo and behold, they end up in the bottom half of the next, we'll call it the next 16. And so you can finish ninth, finish as high as you possibly can, thinking you're doing yourself a favour, and then lo and behold, you get drawn against PSG, who finished 23rd or whatever it is, you know. Madness. George again, question. Would you like to see a heavy rotated 11? No, not a heavy rotated, I wouldn't. But I think we need to make some changes. And I think that's everybody. Listen, folks, if you haven't, oh, wait a minute, I can't go without mentioning Gary, who's put in, I'd love to see Eddie guest on this show with Chris, so Chris could tell him all the things he's doing wrong. Yeah, you and me both, Gary. Gary is probably an even happier clapper than I am. So there you go. We're going to wind it up there, folks. Thanks for sticking around for as long as you have through all of the technical difficulties that we've had to go through. I'm going to get off because I'm back tonight again. We've got a good show, good panel lined up for you tonight. And we'll be doing the Barca preview, obviously, in a lot more depth than I was set up to do it for today, being slung in at the last minute. Doing my best anyway. As I say, all of this juggling and 24 different things at once. That's what women do. Men can't multitask. The only two things women can't do at the same time is sit down and shut up. There you go. and with that, good night. So smash the likes on your way out. Hit the bell. Become a member like Michael. Let's just make sure I've pronounced his name correctly. Kamiotek. Is that Polish, Michael? I hope. Oh, hang on. Whoa. I hope you haven't all gone yet. There's a lot of you have gone. We've just been told that Bruno is now facing the press. So
before. Well, yeah, it was nice. I mean, very. I hope this may continue, but he's showing his quality in the trainings as well. So yeah, he's a good player.
And how do you balance playing with aggression and passion with staying composed and precise, particularly again like tomorrow with the side that could punish just the smallest mistake?
It's a good question. Even myself, I don't know how. I just try to play my football and to be the best Bruno possible for the team. Try to help my teammates get the ball in every moment. Never hide myself for a game. I think this is my biggest attribute to the team. But yeah, it's a good question. I don't know how. I just wanna play and keep it that way.
Gentleman on the left there, yeah.
Sí, hoy creo que es uno de los mejores jugadores del mundo, un jugadorazo, pero no vamos a jugar contra Lamine Yamal, vamos a jugar contra Barcelona, que también tenemos, que tiene a Pedri, a Rafinha, Rashford, Lewandowski, grandes jugadores, pero seguramente es bueno que no juegue contra nosotros, pero como dices, jugamos contra Barça, no contra Lamine.
When you first came in and signed for Newcastle, you said that the ownership said you could possibly win the Champions League. What's the goal this season? What's the aim this season for you? Just to get as far as you can.
Yeah, be honest, yes, get far as we can. Of course, it is in the future gonna be something that we're looking for, but at the moment we just wanna go. We don't want to put some limit in our dream. We just want to play game by game and see what we got, but we're very excited and we hope we can go as far as possible.
Hi Bruno, do you think the club and the team as a whole is better equipped for the Champions League now than it was 2 years ago?
Definitely, I think so. I think now is quite different as well. They changed the rules. Of course, we got more experience. I think we were very unlucky last time. The group we took as well, we lost many players injury. I think we now signed some players. We are strong as a team as well. I remember the game we did against PSG. We have 4 keepers in the bench and the 3 players for the academy. So it was quite strange feeling. I think now we have more experience, and we can't wait to go through tomorrow.
Chris, Scott, and then Kieran on the same row, please.
Hi Bruno, you played all the minutes in the Champions League last time. You've set the Premier League record for Newcastle for consecutive appearances. You've mentioned about playing in midfield and how difficult that is. How do you stay fit all the time without wanting to jinx it? How do you keep going in that sort of combative area of the midfield and just keep yourself fit and be able to keep going?
Oh, it's a good question, but I try to manage it with my whole team. I have my personal physio, I have my personal trainer as well. They are talking with the club every time. So when finish the game, I spend a lot of time doing the recovery to be ready for the next game. Even more now, play Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday. So we have to be ready. And be honest, sometimes the guys talk to me and they say, "Gaff, I don't want to be out. I wanna play every game as possible because the career is short." And I can say I have this with me. I don't like to be out. Even when he want to put me out, I say I don't think this is the moment, and this moment never get. So yeah, just try to help the team and the club the best way possible.
Developed a really good relationship with the supporters. They really seem to, enjoy you, really love you. Has it become different for you in the city? How have you found living in Newcastle in these last year or so? And do you feel that your relationship with the city has become even stronger as well as with the club?
I think so. I never thought to go in a restaurant and not pay the bill. So is what's going on at some restaurant at that time. But yes, I'm enjoying. Be honest with you, I never thought this would happen when I first signed for the club. I always have faithful in my job and my teammates in the club, but the things have been very good, better than I thought. But yeah, I'm just enjoying. Like I said, when I put the shirt on, I try to play like a Georgie, give everything that I can for help the club, help the city. Like I said, we have been together for 3 years and a half, and everything has been amazing for the club, and I hope this may continue.
Kieran?
Do you have a speech planned for tomorrow night before the game?
Yes, I do. I cannot say to you now, but I have. But be honest with you, I don't think we need that much. Everyone is very excited for the game. Everyone, since when we beat Wolves, our focus straight away was focus on Barcelona game. So I think everyone in a good place. We fit enough to go here tomorrow and deliver a very good performance.
Thank you. We'll go to the gentleman on the end down the middle, please.
Buenas tardes, Bruno. Has hablado de Ronaldinho, de Xavi, de Iniesta, ahora de Rafinha. Siempre se dijo que el Barcelona le interesaba a Bruno Guimaraes en etapas anteriores. ¿Cuánto de cierto hay si alguna vez te viste muy cerca de un club tan grande como el Barcelona?
Não, nunca teve. Só outras jornalistas que falavam sobre, pero não ha ido nenhum contato com o clube. Pero como eu disse, quando era niño sempre me gostou a mirar Barcelona por Ronaldinho, que sempre foi jogador que me encantou muito, assim como Iniesta, Xavi, Messi. Em Brasil, miramos muito la Liga e Barcelona sempre me encantou por estes jogadores.
Thank you. And lady, just 2 rows in front, please.
Hola Bruno, el Barça ahora mismo es uno de los mejores equipos del mundo, llegó a semifinales de la Champions, pero os veo con mucha confianza e ilusión de cara al partido de mañana. ¿Cuáles crees que son vuestras armas? ¿Cómo le podéis hacer daño a este Barça?
Creo que jogar em casa é sempre uma arma para nós outros. Já mostramos outra vez em Champions League o que podemos fazer acá, contra grandes partidos também na Premier. Creo que tenemos que jogar nosso mejor futebol mañana, porque como disse, Barcelona hoy es un mejor equipo del mundo. Tenemos que estar pronto para pelear hasta el último minuto e intentar coger los 3 puntos.
Just the gentleman just behind that, please.
Hola, Bruno, ¿qué tal? Raúl Fuentes de Radio Marca en España. Tú conoces bien a Rafinha de la selección. ¿A ti personalmente te está sorprendiendo su última temporada, su nivel de cara a portería con respecto a los últimos años, que quizá no lo ha tenido tanto? ¿Qué te parece ahora los últimos partidos, los últimos juegos de Rafinha?
Rafinha sempre, para mim, se foi um jogadoraço. Estou contento que está marcando, que está jogando seu melhor futebol. Para mim, hoje é um dos melhores 5 do mundo. Temos que ter muita atenção amanhã com ele. Pero a mim não é surpreendido este momento, porque sempre me encantou a Rafinha.
Thank you. Just go Martin and then Craig to wrap up, please.
Hiya, Bruno. You mentioned Ronaldinho there. There's been Rivaldo as well and Romario. What does Barcelona mean to Brazilian players?
It's a good question. Even more those players you spoke, all legend in the club and in the national team as well. Like I said, in Brazil we watch a lot La Liga, so Barcelona and Madrid everyone is stopped to do what they do and to see the game. Like I said, the player who made me feel in love with football was him. I have posters, banners, everything about Ronaldinho in my home. So yeah, of course, they have Romario, Rivaldo, all top players. Yeah, is what I can say.
Hi Bruno, on the back of the situation, what can the club do and what does the club need to do to make sure that doesn't happen again and you guys as players have everything you want to stay here and players don't want to look elsewhere?
It was a good question. I don't know exactly what the club can do. I think we have the fair play financial. I don't know if this affect or not. I'm not under the table to see the circumstance. I don't know what was going on. But I think football is business. If the club did, I think they should do. But I think us as a player, we don't want to lose our best players. If you want to be successful, we have to improve our squad. I think we did this very, very well in this summer, and we look forward to go again.
Thank you. We've got 3 at the back. Gentleman in blue in the far corner.
Hola, Bruno. Santi Valle para la cadena SER. Ha dicho antes que tienen uno de los mejores centros del campo de la Premier, me ha parecido entender. Me gustaría saber si cree que el centro del campo puesto está a la par con el del Barcelona, que tiene grandes jugadores, y también qué le parece Pedri como futbolista.
Um jogadoraço, já jogado com o Pedri na final das Olimpíadas em Japão, na qual ganhamos 2-1. Então, já conheço o Pedri há muito tempo, é um grande jogador. E creio que sim, creio que temos que pelear em la meia cancha, sempre é muito importante. Como eu disse, Barcelona tem um equipaço e temos que estar pronto para pelear em todo o centro de la cancha.
There's one gentleman there. He's still got a question. Yeah.
Tough, huh? Good question. Pero creo que Lamine também está, Dembele, Vitinha. Então creo que Rafinha está entre os 4.
Thank you very much, guys.
Bye.
Okay, well, this time I've got an echo, Chris. That's better. Yeah. Well, that was far more entertaining than Eddie's, wasn't it? Just first of all, we could hear it all nice and loud. We couldn't hear the questions, of course, but that wouldn't have mattered with half of them, I think, because they were in a foreign language. Didn't he do well? Good old multilingual Bruno. But interesting little passage where he was saying he has been known to turn around to Eddie and say, look, Eddie's obviously given him the opportunity to rest. And no, I want to play. I want to play every game, and I want to play like a Geordie. Good old Bruno, love it. And he says, he's waiting until the game comes along when he'll want to miss out, but he says that game just never comes when he wants to miss out, because he wants to play literally every game and help the lads Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. He says, I don't give a damn. So that was that was. Isn't it great to see Bruno, man? How he's completely. They were obviously on about the Latino clique that they had with Miggy, him, and J7, and going to the restaurants. And he said, "No, he says I always paid me fair share. And it was never on the house." A lot of people think because they get Rio restaurant gets a lot of publicity up with by the fact that they're always going there, And no, always pay our bills, says he. So they should. The amount of money they're getting paid, absolutely sure they should. Anyway, so that was great. That was great. I'm because people were telling me in the chat that Bruno, the presser was finished. So NUFC TV are obviously showing that not live, but as a rerun from somewhere. I'm wondering if the Champions League's own the UEFA TV network. I'm wondering if they maybe show it live, and so maybe it'll get a few from somewhere. Anyway, that's for the future. Worth noting for future reference, it would appear that Champions League press conferences is the manager followed by a player. So let's leave it there. Again, thank you very much for all of you sticking with us. There's still over 300 on all platforms watching. So thanks a lot. Smash the like. Can we get to 200? What do you reckon? Let's have a look. How far off are we? Well, we've done it. We're on 230. Well done. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That'll help us no end. And it costs you nothing, of course. So hit the likes, hit the bell, hit the subscription, so you get notified of everything we're doing. We'll be back on tonight. It's Wednesday, so it'll be 9 o'clock tonight, I think. And we will see you then with the Barca preview. Howe the lads, and thank you for sticking with me.